theme song introduces another session of Are You a Genius? Presented for American fighters and their allies.
And conducted by the master half-wit, genius who set record lows in every Army classification test, star of this show, Eddie Mayhoff. That's me, fellas. I thank you. Are you a genius? This is a simple game. All you need is a pencil and paper and a few right answers. I ask a question, and comes music for a half a minute or so, and then I give the correct answer. Each correct answer is worth a certain number of points. I give you the value of each question as we go along, and your genius rating is your total score. Now, do you understand how to play the game? All right. In this session, we have 6 questions for a total of 100 points. And the first item on the quiz menu is a little matter about an indoor sport known as bowling. If you know anything about that pastime, you can start yourself off by picking up the first 15 points. Here is the question. What is the highest possible score anyone can get in bowling? 15 points for this right answer. What is the highest possible score anyone can get in bowling? Here we go! The days are here again! And that should have given you enough time to think of the right answer. Also to get apoplexy. The highest possible score you can get in bowling is 300 points. That is known as a perfect score, and in order to get it, every one of the 12 balls the bowler throws must be a strike, or in other words, each one must knock down all 10 pins. Take 15 points for your genius score if you said that 300 is the highest possible tally you can get in the game of bowling. Years ago, when I was much younger and healthier, I got a job as pin boy in a bowling alley. Now, I'm a guy who doesn't mind a little physical discomfort, but brother, that job was so tough. I couldn't stand it for more than 3 hours at a stretch. You see, 2 of the pins were missing, and I had to stand in for them. Gee, I tell you, I've had a time all along, man. Well, all right, so now we turn to the next question. This one is about nursery rhymes. At least it concerns one well-known nursery rhyme, and if your memory is good, you can get another 15 points right here. You all remember the one that begins, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden, For 15 points, what did Mary, quite contrary, grow in her garden? What did she grow? Okay, calm down. Shut that thing off, too, will you, Mac? All right, let's have the answer to that. All right, just a second. Here it is. What did Mary, quite contrary, grow in her garden? Well, it was silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Yes, sir, for 15 points. The whole thing went like this. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Take 15 points if you got that one right. Of course, what the school books didn't tell you is that Mary also raised radishes in her garden, and thereby, gentlemen, hangs a tale. You see, Mary's father was a glass blower. Didn't know that, did you? Well, he was. He was a glass blower, and one day, just before he started work, he ate a lot of Mary's radishes, and they gave him the hiccups. It was terrible. Before they could get him stopped, he blew a whole room full of Silex coffee pots. What a mess. It was terrible. Well, that brings us up to the third question, men. This one has to do with, one incident in the history of aviation and is worth 20 points. 10 points for each half of it that you get correct. Here it is. What was the name of the plane Charles Lindbergh used to fly the Atlantic? And how many engines did it have? There you are. 10 points for each half of it. What was the name of the plane Charles Lindbergh used to fly the Atlantic? And How many engines did it have? I could do it. All right. 20 points altogether. Here are the two correct answers. The name of Lindbergh's plane was the Spirit of St. Louis, and it had just one engine. 10 points for each half of the question. The plane in which Lindbergh flew the Atlantic was called the Spirit of St. Louis, and it was powered with just one engine. I saw one of those helicopters the other day. Now, there is really a great invention. The thing goes straight up in the air, just like a skyrocket, and then it comes back down the same way. They got the idea from my Uncle Julius one time when he drank some gasoline by mistake. There's a character. He bought some false teeth last week out of a mail-order catalog. Imagine buying false teeth that way. They don't fit very well, and they keep whistling all the time. The other night he was eating soup, and they whistled so much, he got 4 messages from the Coast Guard. Good old Uncle Julius, I want to tell you. There. All right, and now comes the GI question, man. This one will get you 10 points for the right comeback, and it's not very tough. Is it true or false that the middle of the day is the most likely time for an enemy cloud gas attack? 10 points if you get the right answer on this. Is it true or is it false that the middle of the day is the most likely time for an enemy cloud gas attack? Well, the answer to that query is that the statement is false. The middle of the day is the least favorable time for an enemy gas attack due to the fact that the ground is warmer than the air and causes rising air currents, which in turn make the gas rise quickly. 10 points if you said approximately that. The middle of the day is the least favorable time for an enemy gas attack because the ground is warmer than the air and causes rising air currents, which make the gas rise quickly. All right. And now we come to the musical part of this quizola, at which time I'm happy to announce that I play the burpulette. I think I can say without fear of contradiction that there is no one who plays the burpulette the way I do. You see what I mean? I got a letter the other day from a man who invented this instrument, and he wanted to thank me for introducing it to the public. He said, "Mayhoff, since you have played the burpulette in public, orders for the instrument have been pouring in at the rate of 1 a year." And with that encouraging bit of news, we turn to the music. On this occasion, I am going to play 3 songs that have one or more names of the months of the year in their titles. All you have to do to get 10 points on each of them is to guess the names of the months. All right, here is the first song whose title contains the name of a month. Recognize that tune, you have a great ear for music and plenty of tolerance. The name of it was September in the Rain. I got the rain effect by draining one of the valves. Well, take 10 points if you knew that September was the name of the month in that song. And here's the next one. This has the name of 2 months in its title. Okay, that tune I just battled to a draw was known back a few years ago as June in January. Yes, believe it or not, it was June in January. And if you happen to detect that, you have another 10 points for your final score. Here is the last song with the name of a month in its title, and this one is quite a bit tougher. If you don't believe me, wait till you hear the way I play it. Answers the name of April in Paris. So, of course, April should have been your answer to that. The last 10 points on this here musical quiz. Yes, sir. All right, here's the last question for, let's see, we got about 10 points left. 10 points to make the even 100. This one is another sport query, and this is it. In tennis, in the game of tennis, what does love mean? You've heard tennis scores such as 40 love or love game, but what does the word love mean in that particular spot? Too far. All right, here's the answer to that. In tennis scores, the word love means 0 or nothing. If someone beats you 40 love, they have skunked you 40 to nothing. I'm always learning some new sport, but I'm not very good at anything. I just don't catch on very fast. I'll never forget when I took up horseback riding. I went out for about an hour, and I didn't seem to be getting any place, and it was all on account of the horse. I complained to the guy at the stable. I said, look, how do you expect me to ride a horse as old as this one is? Look at him. He's so old, he's got a beard. The guy said, that's no beard. You're riding him backwards. I don't know. I guess I'm just dumb or something. I don't know. All right. Men, are you ready? Get those pencils and papers, boys. Get those pencils. Get those papers. What do I say? All right. Now, go ahead and add up scores. 50 is not so hot. I will tell you right now, 50 is not so hot. 60 is average, and anything above 70 is getting mighty close to that fine genius rating of 100 points. No question about it. All right. Be on the lookout for another edition of this mental jam session, which will be along your way very soon. Will you? All right. So in the meantime, this is Eddie Mayhoff, the old pinhead, saying goodbye now and asking you once more, are you a genius? I am. I showed my Uncle Julius how to get the cows on his farm to produce more by putting a radio in the barn. It worked, too. When he came back, there was milk all over the place. They'd been listening to Double or Nothing. Plain silly. Are You a Genius is produced by the Special Service Division of the War Department of the United States of America.